Children around the world are out of school. The world has never witnessed a school shutdown of this scale. But some nations, like South Korea, are slowly sending their children back to school. South Korea's high schools opened for the first time this year, with students returning to school after almost 5 months. This is the first stage of the phased reopening of schools in South Korea. Starting with the high school seniors, schools in South Korea will reopen in various stages until the 1st of June for all 5.5 million elementary, middle and high school students. Schools in South Korea were supposed to open last week, but a new outbreak at a nightclub had pushed back the reopening.
학교가 너희들을 지난 3개월 동안 정말 목마르게 기다리고 있었다. 이런 말을 저도 수없이 되뇌이고 있습니다. 지금부터는 학업과 방역이라는 두 마리 토끼를
Getting children back into classrooms seems like a reassuring step toward normalcy. However, schools remain prepared with new social distancing measures and rules. Face masks are compulsory for all students and teachers, except during meals. Temperatures of the students are checked at the entrance of their high schools. Motorcycles carrying disinfection sprays were also seen sanitizing entrances and schoolyards. The Education Ministry will keep a track of any teachers or students who have a fever using an online self-diagnostic system. Bruce Harrison is joining us live from Seoul. Good afternoon to you, Bruce. Thanks for being with us. South Korea, the first country to reopen schools. Now, they are starting with high school seniors and then in a phased and sequential process, opening middle and elementary schools.
That's right. They're playing it safe for now. The Education Ministry here wants to see how it goes with the seniors. And as you mentioned, there are a number of precautions in places. Students are going to sit at desks that are wrapped with a plastic barrier that reaches to the top of their heads, and this is to limit any potential spread of COVID-19 within the classrooms. You said masks to be worn at all times, and then perhaps a bit of a downer for the students in the lunchroom. They're going to have to social distance as well, sit apart from each other, face the same direction as they eat, and have these barriers in place as well. So it's not going to be the fun times at lunch where they could chat with their pals. It's going to be all business right now to make sure that the virus doesn't spread. I visited one of the schools this morning where the students were returning, and it was certainly a different kind of first day for these seniors. Not only were they met by a lot of press at the gate of their high school, they're facing these new challenges in learning because of the threat of coronavirus. So while they're back, challenges remain. And I spoke to a couple of them. They said it's going to be difficult. They're glad to be back. Ultimately, they're happy to be studying again, but they've lost some months and they have a lot of work to do to catch up, to get ready for their tests for college.
Right. And Bruce, you have spoken about the social distancing measures that are in place with the high school students. How do they plan to implement these same social distancing measures with the younger children when they go back?
It will really depend on the success of the seniors that are entering now, but they're going to begin bringing back younger students from June. So a lot of the same measures will apply because that's not too far down the road. And without a vaccine for COVID-19, for the coronavirus, there's going to be an anticipated outbreak here and there. The one that took place last week, government officials expected infection clusters to pop back up, so they're going to have to be vigilant. As long as that threat exists, we're going to need to see these protective measures in schools for seniors and on down, primary and secondary education. It's going to be the new normal, they're calling it here, to get hand sanitizer on your way into class, have your temperature checked twice a day. That's teachers and students as well. The students are going to have to get used to it. They've been doing remote learning online during the delay of the start of the semester. Now they're back in classes. It's unclear which one is exactly more comfortable, not being with your friends at home and studying online, at least the comfort of your home, compared to a very, very cautious environment in the high schools where you don't have as much contact with your friends as you did before.
Right, and just as you mentioned earlier, they have already delayed reopening the schools by a week due to the outbreak last week at nightclubs. Do they have contingency plans in place if there is a COVID-19 outbreak at one of the schools or in an area?
The bottom line, Allison, they're going to shut it down. If there's a single case at any of these schools, that school will be shut down. All the students will be tested and they'll be sent home to quarantine. It doesn't mean the entire district or all the public schools are going to shut down because of that one example. But if it becomes a problem, the government is prepared to go back to online learning. And that was a challenge a bit as well when they introduced these remote classes. South Korea is tech savvy, highly wired, incredible internet speeds, but they realize, not everyone has the same access to computers, tablets they can take these tests and classes on, as well as a dedicated, reliable internet connection. A lot of the poorer students. So the government is working quickly as well here to make sure that everybody can go online. If that is the case, if they have to go back to that as we introduce more students back into the public school system here.
All right, Bruce, thanks very much for that report. That's our WION correspondent, Bruce Harrison, bringing us the latest from Seoul with the reopening of schools in South Korea.